This is Bree. I am half of Kit Rocha, and I am here to welcome you guys to our Romancing the Runoff $50,000 tipsy live stream. So let me just introduce you to my co-conspirators here. First off, my partner in crime, the other half of Kit Rocha, Donna. Donna, say hello.
Hello.
Next, the person who helped me do this in the middle of the night because we decided to go a little bit bonkers. The wonderful, inimitable Courtney Milan.
Hello.
And live from her awesome birdcage seat, our favorite person, Alyssa Cole. So guys, how are you guys doing?
Yay!
Yay!
Nobody knows what to say because it's all so much.
I actually just looked at the chat and I was like, I see people's names I know, and then I got totally distracted from what you were saying. I'm doing good. My brain is a little mushy, but for good reasons now instead of bad reasons, so that's great.
Yeah, I think there's always sort of a period after something like this when you have so much fear and uncertainty that your brain is still holding on to a lot of it in a lot of weird ways. And so my brain is still there. Also, we're not done yet, which is why we're here.
Yes.
I'm going to introduce my drink, which is watermelon kombucha.
Ooh,
and
fancy.
you might not... Look, there is alcohol in kombucha. And
I do.
anything that you have to get carded for in a store, if I drink it, what happens is I will get like super drunk within the first 10 minutes and then I will just pass out and fall asleep. So this allows me to titrate it to the level where I just get tipsy and you can make fun of me.
That sounds like me, actually, really.
Yeah, actually, Donna's a lightweight and so am I. I've got sparkling wine. So
yay.
this right here will probably lay me out.
Yeah.
I have wine. It's in a rum glass, but because I am now a lightweight, I am just having a glass of wine. In the good old days, I could have had the bottle of rum, but I'm mature now. My liver's like, fuck that. We're not going to do that anymore.
Freaking adult. Mine.
Oh, we lost Courtney.
Oh, Courtney, come back.
We'll get her back.
Mine is in a World Cup glass, but it's I feel like a lush now, but mine is a Madras. It's basically a screwdriver, but with a splash of cranberry juice. So I have vodka.
But there's juice. It's fine.
There's juice. Okay. There's orange juice and cranberry juice. So
that is good. The stream, for some reason, decides to just keep kicking Courtney out. So we're just going to keep dragging her back in. Which is, tech support, madness.
Hello, also grown-ups.
Yes. Hello, everybody in the chat. We love seeing you too.
Yay, vodka, indeed, Akeisha. Yay, vodka.
Keeps telling me that the stream has ended.
It's lying.
I know. I think I'm going to try and connect on my laptop because my iPad does not like this at all. Sorry. But we're going to set iPad here until I get set up on the laptop.
Awesome. We are doing this thing. Tech support. Thank you, everybody who loves my purple wig. It is my streaming hair. So, okay, I'm assuming
I wore my matching purple hood wrap to go with you. So we met.
My long ass bangs.
Alyssa, what's on your t-shirt? Rose wants to know.
Oh, it is Radical Ed and Ein from Cowboy Bebop.
Nice.
Excellent. So,
yes, a Madras is a yummy drink.
Are you guys hearing an echo? I don't know. We shouldn't be having any echo, but has anyone got the stream on in the background?
No.
Okay. Other people aren't hearing it, so hopefully that's just a
I managed to mute myself before I sneezed, so yeah.
That takes skill.
So if you guys have any questions, feel free to like drop them in the chat. We're going to be trying to keep an eye on it, and we will answer. And when we get Courtney back, we will tell you guys how this bananas thing started.
So banana. So
You just assumed this was my actual hair. I actually did have hair this color, but let me tell you guys, in 2020, I was not keeping bleach and color up. It was just not going to happen. So I was like, I'm just going to pretend. Also, I had hair like down to my waist like a month or two ago. And I got to the point where I just like put it all in a ponytail at the back of my neck, and I had my husband cut it all off. Just cut the ponytail off, like this much hair.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
So that was about where I was at a month ago emotionally. I was put your hair in a ponytail and let your husband cut it off.
Look,
you know,
shave your head, okay?
I did not shave my head, but
That's exactly what I did.
I got real close. Courtney's back.
Yay!
So,
okay. Sorry. I don't know why it kept kicking me out on my iPad, but that's okay. We don't need the iPad. We're going to do this on here.
Sweet.
Let's see. Joanna asked if there's a way to donate via the chat. No, but if you go to the scroll down in the YouTube thing, I have got links to everything. There's links to where people can donate items for the auction. There's linked to our 2 Act Blue pages. The Act
Domestic
Blue US
and international.
Yeah, is for US citizens, and the international one is for people who aren't in the US, so we don't do any election crimes. But there are still places that you can donate that will help people in Georgia, which anything that makes their lives easier makes voting easier. So we appreciate, I mean, it's just been, I think that I wanted $10,000 and Courtney was like, no, let's go for 20,000. And here we are, probably going to pass 60,000 during the stream. And we haven't even started the auction yet. So I'm going to just start crying.
So unbelievable. People have just like turned up and turned out for like in amazing ways. I mean, I don't think that anybody could have possibly anticipated the response. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, guys, I have a dog behind me. Dell is.
I see a tail. Or is it
There's
a
her
leg?
head.
For a couple of
This is
reasons.
what? This is a tail. Yeah, I got Dell's tail. So, okay,
So-
we have a question if you guys.
Okay.
Anyone would like to answer? Oh no, that's not the one I meant to go. Sorry, but thank you.
I was like, I'm confused, Bree. I don't understand.
That's a good question.
Here's the one I was going for. What's been everyone's favorite stress relief distraction activity this past week?
I watched an entire K-drama.
Which one?
It was Because This Is My First Life.
Yeah.
And I really liked it except the end. I didn't love the end.
I watched the first few episodes. I didn't get to finish it yet, but I liked
It was really great. I loved it. I loved how, I want to say, adult the characters were about everything and how good they were at communicating and not having like bullshit drama. And then like the last 2 episodes were bullshit drama. I was like, oh, really? You didn't need to have done it. So it's fine. And you know, honestly, I actually think I probably would have liked the bullshit drama better if we weren't like surrounded by like bullshit drama.
Yeah.
So
I played Among Us, a lot of Among Us. On our Discord, we all just got on there, like, every night, like, most of the nights the past week, and we just all ran around in this little spaceship and murdered each other. And it was weirdly cathartic.
It works.
So.
I'm going to admit that I fully do not really know what Among Us is. I see these little cute, colorful things. I know people are trying to kill each other.
yeah, Alyssa play with me sometime.
I will come play. I will be really bad. I think I would just be like, it's not me.
But it's not. The hardest part for me is figuring out where things are, because I'm always like wandering around, and then everyone's like, "You look really suspect." I'm like, "No, this one is."
I'm not suspicious. I'm just ignorant. I don't know what's going on.
I went in that room because I thought the little arrow pointed there, but the little arrow was sending me the other way. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing. And they're like, "A likely story."
No!
We did not shove her out of an airlock.
We did not, like, right when everything's talking about being
sus. Amazing timing.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question while we wait for Courtney to come back. When will the auction go live? We're going to start loading stuff into our auction site over the next week, and we'll be tweeting, tweeting pictures and stuff, and tweeting links to it, and you'll be able to sign. She just came in and out. I don't know what is going on. It's evil. So then it officially starts, though, on the 18th, and it will run through, I think we said the 24th. So come on, stay with us.
I have no idea what is going on. It just hates
so
me.
weird. It's just doing it to you.
Yeah, and it's doing it to me on any device. So.
Oh, Rebecca Weatherspoon, our favorite R. Spoon, is here trying to get us to incriminate ourselves. If you had the chance, which member of Congress would you fight in the street? Susan Collins. I'm from Maine, and she just makes me so mad.
Lindsey Graham. I think I could take him. I'm scrappy. I grew up in a trailer park.
If you're taking Lindsey Graham, then I will go for Kennedy from Louisiana.
Is anybody going to fight McConnell, or do I have to go 2-on-1?
No, I'll do that. I would fight all of those people. McConnell. I have stamina. I carry a little crowbar with me.
My answer to Josh. I would like to fight Josh Hawley in the streets.
I mean, I will be frank. Pretty much anyone in the GOP, it would be on site. So.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Tommy Tuberville, I would punch him. That's not a threat.
Yeah, these are totally not threats. NSA Brad. NSA
be chill, NSA Brad. Be chill.
Woo!
We're talking about pillow fights. Pillow fights in this.
Okay, then I want to change my answer. I do not want to have a pillow fight with Lindsey Graham.
They're fucking bastards.
Okay, let's see.
You ruined my entire mental.
Oh, I'm gonna put this one up. Curious if Courtney's tofu usage has trended since her epic tofu exploration, and whether others' tofu usage was affected by it. Yes, my husband, Mr. Bree, follows Courtney and has been going deep into the tofu adventures because of this. So, which has been fun. So cool. I'm down with it.
I like tofu.
My tofu has, ever since I did it, then I have added like a couple of things permanently to my tofu repertoire. And like I use red tofu as seasoning, like the fermented red tofu as seasoning all the time now. I never tried it before. And soy sticks, I love soy sticks now. I hadn't used them before, but like I'll throw them in like omelets and stuff in the morning. So yeah, it was a good thing. I highly suggest that everyone spend 2 weeks making it.
We've got a few people who are asking for sneak peeks or teasers about things that have been donated so far.
Okay.
So somebody I don't think this is even a peek. I just retweeted it. Someone just donated a cabin in Georgia to be a writer's retreat.
What?
For 2 or 3 nights, for like 3 to 4 people.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, I just retweeted it before we came on here.
Chat, I would also take on Tom Cotton. I just want you to know that. Like, there's
yes. Let's jump in.
Fighting in the streets on the table. Like, yeah.
I think Romancelandia just needs to roll out for non-violent, not threat fights.
Right.
Yes.
Hypothetical pillows.
Just
So
putting Josh Hawley's death in my next contemporary. Just kidding.
So other cool donations. There's so many awesome authors who are doing like signed books. Tessa Dare just committed to doing an annotated version of When a Scot Ties the Knot. And thanks to Twitter, I think she's gonna draw some snails in the margin. So
Annie
I saw
Kay
this
is
beautiful hand embroidered piece of art, like just breathtaking. I mean, there's just so much stuff. It's so amazing. So
yeah, there are
let's
people
see.
doing art commissions. I think several annotated books. I'm doing an annotated copy of When No One Is Watching. Someone on the Instagram account tagged a beautiful dress that they're auctioning that matches the dress from their cover.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. I just realized that we have some of the cover dresses from A Princess in Theory. From A Princess in Theory and from A Duke by Default. Okay, so there's a teaser. Maybe
Do you want to
cover
say
dresses.
something about any arcs you might have? Anyone?
I do have several arcs of How to Catch a Queen that will be up for auction too.
Oh, I'm so blurry.
Okay, wow. I should write those down before I forget, but I won't. Someone remind me, dresses later.
So yeah, sorry, I don't know why my autofocus has gone on strike, but I'll just be blurry for a little bit. You guys, How to Catch a Queen is such a good book, so I'm so excited that we're gonna be able to auction it off. Come on, camera, be chill.
I keep
Will
doing
not
that.
be chill.
We're just having tech
blurring anyway
madness.
to
It's
me
okay.
because I've almost finished my drink.
Yeah, maybe I'm blurry because wine. My wine is very, very. Oh, there we go. Magic. So, yeah. So you guys want to hear the story? The story of how this started? Because the story of how this started is pretty wild, which is Courtney and I were like, let's make an email address. Maybe we should do an auction. And like, we were very tired. It was Thursday night. I think everyone had been awake for like 3 days at that point. So Courtney made an email address and we went to bed. And then at 6 a.m., she started texting me again. And she was up and like really excited. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just get up. It's not like I'm sleeping. I want to know if there's more ballots in Pennsylvania. And like, what was it? That was 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So 1
like,
o'clock is when we launched it.
Yeah.
And we broke what? Did we break 50K last night? I think we did.
Yes.
We broke 50K
yesterday evening?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends. Afternoon for me because I'm all the rest of you.
So
definitely afternoon.
So
but
Romancelandia assembled in ways that we could not have envisioned, and it is.
Yeah, it's funny. I couldn't have envisioned it at the time, but in retrospect, it made a lot of sense because everyone was online. Everyone wanted to feel in control of something, Oh yeah, this is my husband got me this it's not a painting, it's a photograph of Pele and a snowy field. Yeah, that was beautiful. A while back. It is a very nice picture of Pele behind me.
And Alyssa, some people have wanted to know more about your chair too. So while we're discussing stuff in the background.
This is this egg chair that I have had my eye on for a while. You can see the comfy seat. And it is from the supermarket. And I saw it at the supermarket and I saw it at like our version of Home Depot. And I kept being like, it's a garden chair. And I was like, you know what? And then a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I really need to feel comforted and like I am in a womb-like structure. No. I said, I want to hang. I want to be on a big cushion. I want some walls around me. And so I went and finally got it after like a long time of thinking about it. And you know what? It was worth it. It was worth every penny.
It's like
It is very relaxing.
So cool.
It does look
enclosed thing.
Do it what?
Pele.
Yeah, can you get a Pele meow?
Hey, big dog. Come here. Hi. Hello. We're just gonna pick you up. Oh, big dog. Oh, big dog. Oh.
Hi,
Cover.
He's like, yes, adore me on screen.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna let you go. Oh, good boy.
Rose, it wasn't complicated at all. Didn't have that many pieces. You just put the legs on and then connected the two parts of the post. And then there's like a hook thing. And the chair part is all one thing. It just opens like an accordion and you just stick it on there.
Ooh. Now I want one.
It's worth it. I want to get more pillows to just like fill it more with pillows.
Lounge. It must be like you're just like floating, like almost like in water, just swinging gently.
Because I also have a rocking chair that's up here, and I was like, this is comfortable, but not reaching the level of comfort that I need right now.
We all need so much comfort. Or maybe we won't. I don't know. I feel like we're also traumatized. The last 4 years have just been a lot all the time. Oh, here's a good question. What was the last book y'all were super into?
Oh, I have an answer for this. I just read Make a Scene by Mimi Grace.
Ooh,
Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. Ah! Courtney ran to buy it. That's why.
Yeah. Courtney's going
like, I'm getting this right now.
She had to go away. The book.
But Make a Scene by Mimi Grace, it's a contemporary romance. It is a fake dating romance. The heroine owns a bakery, and her ex-boyfriend dumped her and then started dating her cousin. And now they're getting married. And everyone in her family, she wants to prove to everyone in her family that she doesn't care. And also, a new boxing gym has opened up next door, and they keep stealing the parking lots and parking spaces in front of the bakery. And what do you know? Both of the guys are hot. One of them is very hot that she runs into, and she strikes a deal with him that she'll work out a parking spot plan with him if he pretends to be her date for the wedding. And of course, they then fall in love. But it's like real, if you really enjoy romantic comedy movies, it's funny. I was laughing so many times. The banter is amazing. The progression is amazing. And I want everyone to read it. So that was a great question. Make a Scene by Mimi Grace.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it's sort of cheating, but one of my recent favorite reads was How to Catch a Queen, which was just so, like, you guys, I cried at the end because there was just so much. It was the warm hug that I really needed right now. So
Thank you.
Well, of course.
Oh, and I mean, to jump on that train, the one that I read right before Make a Scene, that was my favorite, was The Duke Who Didn't, which I have been talking about everywhere, which is another warm hug, speaking of warm hug books.
Aww.
And it's on audio now.
Yes, Courtney released that audio on Election Day for all of us.
The last one that I really, really enjoyed was Alyssa's Thriller, so
Thank you.
I finally had time to read it. So it was not what I would call comforting, but especially like right now. But
it did have a very cathartic ending, though.
Yeah. Like it the end result was worth the ride, we'll say.
I think the last book I read was Anna on the Edge by A.J. Sass. It's a YA book. Actually, it might be middle. I'm not sure. I can never tell exactly the middle grade YA thing, but the hero, I guess, so the main character is non-binary, discovers this over the course of the book and is a figure skater. And for those of you who don't know, figure skating is like super like gender essentialist, gender binary. And it was like a really lovely thing. I enjoyed reading it. The author obviously understands figure skating, which makes me happy. So it was like a combination of like all my happy things in one book. So
that is very cool.
And it's Anna on the Edge?
Anna, A-N-A, on the Edge.
Okay.
Here's a question. Have your reading taste changed this year? You know, mine haven't, except for that it's been even harder than usual for me to like pick up new books where I don't know how it's going to end. Romance is like the only thing that I feel like safe going into uncharted waters with. I've been rereading so many books. Just rereading because I know what I'm going to get. And that's like the only place in my life where I know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, rereading. I've been doing a lot more of it. I'm not usually, I mean, Bree's a big rereader anyway. I'm not usually. I mean, like, I'll reread, you know, old favorites and everything. But it's not usually like, I mean, do you think it would be fair to call rereading like a coping mechanism for you, Bree?
It's like, I had never heard of like the whole TBR thing before I came into romance. For me, it was like, you know, sci-fi fantasy was often kind of hostile to me, like, you know, as a young girl. And so I would get the books that I loved and then I would try them in a new series and I wouldn't like them. So I'd reread my favorites until a new book in a trusted series came out or I found a new safe series. So it was like sort of just how I read. I would go visit my old friends until I could make some new ones. But it's a coping mechanism this year. Like,
yeah.
It's harder for me to read. It's not just this year. It's been for a while now. It's been harder for me to read. I used to read like a book or two a day, and I can't do that anymore. My brain doesn't have that space. And I'm hoping that things will let go and like that part of my brain that's always tensed up right now is going to release at some point, but that hasn't happened yet.
It takes emotional energy to care about fictional people, and I don't think we've had a surplus of emotional energy lately.
Yeah, my concentration is also just way down. And it's one of those things where you can start a book and then you're like, you know, just like, so for example, this last week, you start reading a book and it's like really good and it feels amazing. And they're like, I'm going to go see what's happening in Pennsylvania. Are there more, like, have we had another ballot drop?
Yeah.
You know, and then getting back into it, like all that stuff that you sort of built up, like just, you know, so it's been harder for me. And I hate it. I want to just go back to like being able to sit down and have like 2 hours go by and be like, oh, what a lovely book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully soon.
Okay, here's a fun one. Which one of your characters do you think would be the best president?
I don't know.
US?
Well, most of my characters aren't qualified because they're from England.
Yeah.
Well, just pretend.
Pretend.
Somebody who was born in the United States.
Who has the best qualities?
Most of our characters don't qualify either because they weren't born in the US because the US ceased to exist.
I would vote for Nina for president. Like Nina for president.
I would say Gideon Rios.
Mine would be Shanti with Naledi as the Surgeon General. I don't think she's qualified. She would just make her the Surgeon General. Like, look, she can do it. Or as her vice president.
Qualified for anything for 4 years. Who cares? Make it so.
Like, we need somebody organized and somebody who's good at delegation, right? Chloe.
I think Portia would be a good vice president.
Okay, somebody's suggesting Adam Reynolds. No, fuck the billionaires. We're done with No. Somebody says Maria Lopez. Maria's a good choice. I was thinking either Maria or Tina, honestly. Tina,
president and vice president.
Delegation thing, but Maria would probably be great.
Lex could not be president. Lex could be a dictator, but she could not be president.
Lex would just be like, you know, it's like the Secretary of Education would come in and be like, I would like to cut funding to schools, and Lex would be like, I would like to stab you, and then she would. And then that would be over.
Are both of us going to get what we want today, or just one of us?
See, yeah, I would live in Lex's dictatorship, maybe, but
Okay,
you know.
I need to have kombucha, and we're gonna have a group vote. Do I want the Mystic Mango or the Guava Goddess?
Guava Goddess.
Okay.
guava sounds really good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Mystic Mango, but that's just because we have like 1,000 guava growing on the trees right now. I'm like, no.
Free would be a good president too. Somebody in the chat is suggesting Free.
Yeah, I think that. Are you going for Mystic Mango or guava? This is the guava. I've already forgotten. See, my brain is full of peas. I actually kept saying last night my brain is mashed potatoes.
For the second
mashed
time.
potatoes. I'm so hungry.
Office floor.
I'm like the only person in the world who gets drunk and gets the munchies.
Now I want pizza again.
Oh,
We're making another field trip through Courtney's house to get paper towels.
We're on an adventure.
Hello.
Okay, let me see. I'm going through it. I know that I've missed questions, so if you ask a question,
Embarrassing. What is the point of us getting tipsy if you're not going to ask us embarrassing questions, right?
yeah, these are also disappointing.
they're very nice, but
What's wrong with all?
Very sweet.
I will answer May's question. Yes, I am suffering from Swiss cheese brain.
This is not a new onset condition.
Shut up.
It's chronic.
It is, and I love cheese puns. And when we play Among Us, I have a slice of Swiss cheese on my head as my character. And I will not take it off. Nobody can make me.
Swiss cheese brain.
I mean,
So-
Courtney has a whole novella with a running cheese joke that pays out. I feel like that is the most dedication to cheese that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that wasn't in. Well, you do know this, but I'm not telling everyone else. It wasn't in the original version. There was no cheese in the original version. It was, and I sent them because obviously I worked with Alyssa and Rose, who's in chat, and we sent each other early drafts, and I sent them, and I was like, yeah, it needs something sort of like pulling it all together. And then I wrote back like 2 days later, I was like, it's cheese.
Cheese.
Okay.
And it was great.
Courtney asked, and we have delivered. What is the hardest sex scene you have ever written? I think it's that one in Beyond Pain for us. The one with that one was. It's hard because it's like sometimes with in the Beyond series with the big group scenes, it's always really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult.
Well, okay, there are levels, because first of all, you have just the absolute practical logistics of it, the choreography, and that can be really hard because not only do you have to make sure that this stuff works and that it's hot, but then you have to actually convey what's happening, and that can be hard when there's 20 hands in a scene. But also it can be really difficult because one of the things that's the most important to all of that stuff is making it clear that there is just an above and beyond level of consent that's going on. And sometimes there are things that are happening if you're not in the point of view of a character for whom that's a question. It'd be really hard to establish that what's going on is a wanted thing. So for me, that scene in Beyond Pain, that aspect of it was challenging because what you really had were two different connected scenes.
Yeah.
And it can be hard enough to essentially convey the experience of non-point of view characters in a single scene, but when you have two different scenes that are connected in a sexual way, that just adds like an extra layer of challenge. So I don't know. I would say that scene in Beyond Control with like Lex and Dallas, and then like, you know, guests.
Or other people.
Guests. Lex and Dallas and guests. Because
I'm gonna laugh, cry.
it's not even like the guests part of it. It's, for me, like the challenging part of that was how challenging Dallas had it. Like dealing with the fact that there were guests, you know, it's like a thing that he was, I wouldn't say not exactly ready for, but like, you know, they were still in a very shaky, tenuous like place in their relationship. And so I think if we wrote the same scene now, like that they, you know, are together, it wouldn't be the same scene. It would be absolutely different, because he would be like so much more like confident about everything naughty that was happening. And so it would be much easier to write it now, I think. But
for me, it would be anything written between about 2015 and 2018, just because of where my brain space was at the time.
Yeah.
Not the books. It's like my brain was in a weird place, and writing about anything related to sex was difficult. So,
yeah. I'm going to say that those are my roosters in the background to answer the questions in the chat. It's Shiny and the other unnamed roosters who are wandering around. And to answer the question, the hardest sex scene, I don't know. It's hard because like I like writing sex scenes. So it's like after they're done, I'm like, yeah, that was great. I finally got to that part. But when I'm writing them, obviously it's hard. But then my brain just erases those difficult times. But I think maybe an unconditional freedom, because that was like a super slow burn, literal enemies to lovers. And both of them really, like kind of going back to what Donna said about consent a little, they both really needed to be gentle with each other. So it was a bit hard, first of all, because I'm like, okay, building and building. Like that is one of, that book has, I think it's probably the furthest along in the book sex scene than any of my books. But so it's like, oh my God, we're here. I really have to make this good, but also I don't want to do something that doesn't fit where these characters are emotionally. So that was probably the most difficult, but I liked how it turned out for the characters. I can't speak for anyone else, but.
Courtney, since you're drunk,
yeah.
favorite bit of the makeover's bullshit.
Okay, actually, this is only tangentially related, but it is my favorite part. So if you go to Addison's like Twitter feed somewhere, she links to all the things she thinks that RWA should do for Black Lives Matter. And it's, you know, some of them are actually not bad, but it turns into like, she has listed there things like, you know, Black authors should help the white authors in RWA write characters without screwing up. And I'm like, yeah. Favorite. Yeah.
Homework.
It's like, great, you are vastly underrepresented, and what we want you to do is spend the next 18 years of your life telling people why they're racist without paying. So, yeah, I think that just says a lot about Addison. I don't know.
I would rather have my toenails ripped off.
Takes attention. So, you know, like I think she's doing things specifically to try and get people to look at her. Like,
finding out that you are the, like, in a dark cabal with, like, Archive of Her Own was my favorite part.
I
like,
love
you
that.
never told me, and I'm really hurt.
Like, I would so love that. I would love to be in a cabal with all of those people. And what's her name? Cindy Cohn, who is executive director of the EFF, or maybe some other title that's like that. Cindy Cohn is the person who convinced me that I should not work for the EFF, because when I first went to law school, I really wanted to like graduate and work for the EFF. And she was like, yeah, so it turns out we don't hire people right out of law school because we don't have time to train anyone. So we expect you to go work for a large firm. And I was like, do I want to do that? No. And I was like, okay, so what could I do instead? And it was like, it turns out that nobody's willing to pay you money to like, just, whatever, except law school. So I was like, I'll be a law professor. That sounds good. And I don't have to be at a law firm. And it turns out that all the reasons I was thinking that about like, worried about having to represent large corporations and all this other stuff, like many of those same concerns exist for law schools, just in different form. And I hadn't realized that. And I discovered it when I became a law professor. And I was like, well, okay, so fuck this shit too. So yeah, I'm rambling a little bit because, as you may have noticed, I'm getting slightly, like on the tipsy scale, I think I'm like 80% of the way to tipsy. And once I hit tipsy, then I start going towards drunk. I do actually ramble normally though, so.
That's okay.
That's fine. That's what the live stream is for. We're here to ramble.
Wackiest thing you've done at a gathering of authors.
I have one for this. At the Avon KissCon, well, actually I had two things for this. One is the first time I met Courtney, which she probably doesn't remember, and I'm frankly surprised I remember, which is the first time I went to RWA. I didn't know anyone. I wasn't registered. I just went to the bar to do like BarCon, but I didn't know anybody. There were a bunch of people talking, and this is back when I used to like drink a lot, but was getting toward the edge of, oh, I'm too old for this now, and my body's like, no. So I was at this bar and by myself, and the people next to me, it's a group of romance authors, but they have kind of like turned the other way, and I'm like trying to work my way into the group. And I order a dirty martini, because like, of course, that's what you order at a bar for some reason when you're trying to be social. And they bring like this huge martini, and that is much bigger than a regulation martini should be. And then the reason why everyone was kind of facing the other way was because this creepy guy was in the other seat. And so I'm there with this like giant martini glass, like drinking because he's being increasingly creepy. And finally someone came to save me after I had ordered my second martini. But I mean, after the first martini, I was very buzzed. And it was the day of the book signing. So then like I went down to the book signing and I was just going by authors and looking at their names. And for me, that is my first memory of meeting Courtney. I walked by Courtney, I was like, I love your books, because I was drunk. And then I just kept going. And you were just like, thanks. And I am glad you don't remember that.
I don't remember anything. That was in New York. So that was when I had just self-published my novella, and like literally the day of or the day before the signing was when I found out that it hit the New York Times list for the first time, and I was just like in this weird space. That was also the year when RWA was like, we're not going to have any self-publishing content in our entire conference, and so
was that the year they like did the Rogue? No, that was a Rogue eCub.
That was the year before.
I'm even older.
There was a Rogue Digital a few years before that. But then like they started allowing digital, and they're like, I don't know about this self-publishing shit. So, and it was like there were romance authors hitting lists with self-published books at that point. And it seemed like a really silly thing to do. And they're like, sorry, our content was set in stone many months ago. We can't possibly change it for you. Yeah. So yeah,
RWA never change.
RWA does change from time to time, but at this point, I still feel flight or flight. Which one comes first? I don't remember. I want to go.
Either one works.
So yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I was actually like, when I did meet you again later, I was like, I hope Courtney does not remember that, because that was just some random woman screaming, I love your books in your face as she like stumbles through.
I don't actually remember that. I don't remember, but the chances of my meeting someone once and remembering their face, it's like 0. Seriously, if I've never met you before and I don't know who you are, and you walk up to me and you're like, I hate everything about you, I'll be like, oh, that sucks. And then I'll see you again later, and if you're nice to me, I will have no idea it was you. None. So.
I know, that's me. That's Fussy Britches. That's my elderly cat. She yowls, you know? She yowls. She can't hear herself. She's very loud. So that's all.
All right, I was checking the totals. We're at 58,500.
Woo!
Crazy.
Yay.
Oh, I do have one more wacky gathering of author story, which was at the KissCon when Erica bought the cover outfit for A Prince on Paper, and I decided to just wear it for like a full day of the conference, and that was probably the last time I actually was very drunk. And I mean, but before I got drunk, I just started doing I basically was like, I am now in character, and was like doing clench cover poses with people throughout the day.
I saw those pictures all over Twitter. It was like amazing. She was dressed up as in the dress from the book, just romancing everywhere.
And then later in the evening, someone was like, can I take a picture? And I was like, do you want to clench? And they were like, no. And then I was like, oh wait, let me take a chill pill. Everyone is not coming for that particular kind of photo. But it was fun. But some of the pictures, when I saw them, I was like, okay. And I wasn't that drunk that I forgot or anything. And some of those pictures were from before I even had anything to drink. But I was just very channeling the Mia and Joanne energy because of the costume.
Excuse me. I hit the nap time part of I drank.
Oh, the chat moved on so far. I've lost some stuff.
Wait, Rebecca had a question. I saw.
Yeah, I can't put it up anymore because the chat's gone too far. But I remember what it was because I was about to put it up. It was what is a trope that you love to read about that you would never engage in real life? And for me, it's Nalini Singh's arrows. Give me all those cold-blooded assassins. I will not date you in real life, but I want to read 9,000 more books about them.
Wait, is that you would never personally engage with, or that you would never try to write?
No, purposely engage with, I think, in real life. What do you like only in fiction that you would not like in your life?
Oh my god, almost
with the stoic, one person who's really stoic and says very little, and in reality I'd be like, fuck it, tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grumpy Sunshine is so fun to read, and that would be such a terrible relationship.
Well, not always. I think I hope not. I think
my marriage is very Grumpy Sunshine. And
you communicate, don't you?
Well, I do communicate, but
more than in a book.
Grumpy Sunshine at the end of the book, not at the beginning.
Yes, at the end of the book it's okay, but at the beginning it's very scary.
We don't communicate of his free will. It's not a thing that happens. He would be, and I say this this is 100% on the level, he would be perfectly fine not discussing anything ever. We've been married for 16 and a half years, and he would be perfectly okay if we just didn't have to have conversations about stuff. He's actually not big on conversations at all, even small talk. But I mean, I'm
gonna say Donna's grumpier.
Okay.
You're a little bit grumpy, honey.
Okay. All right.
You're not exactly sunshine.
Yeah, I'm not sunshine. All right, but I mean, he makes me look like sunshine.
Yes.
In comparison.
I would say that Donna's grump sign. She's not just
grump shine.
I'm putting that in my Twitter bio.
I think that you probably have to be on a sliding scale of compatibility, not so far apart that you can't bridge the differences.
I think for me it would be, I mean, I was gonna say alien abduction. And
Well, now
it's not because of the alien. It's because I'm claustrophobic. Don't put me in a spaceship. Like if you have a really big spaceship, then
let me get this straight. You would be perfectly down for being abducted by aliens if they took you, like, to some like open plain in Kansas.
No, I mean,
needs to be a big enough spaceship, Donna.
If the spaceship was big enough that I felt like I was just like walking down the street or whatever, I would be good. And if they had like some anti-anxiety, I mean, it would depend on the alien, obviously. Like,
listen, Donna, 2020 was hard. If you can get off the planet, I don't judge
if they were a humanoid type.
Okay. All right, I get it. It's the aliens are not the thing that's like tripping me up here. It's the abduction part.
Sorry.
I don't want historicals because I don't want to live in actual historical times. Then I started saying that, and I realized, fuck, I don't like living in contemporary. What do we need? I don't know.
Okay, when I say alien abduction romance, it's usually I'm reading the ones where they're usually like nice aliens.
So like, alien invitation.
Accidental abduction. Accidental abduction.
You know what though? I think Anna Gary kind of wrote one of those.
Yes. Anna Gary is an example.
Like a very accidental, cinnamon roll.
Accidentally grabbed this weird creature type thing, but as long as it wasn't like, I mean, not like, I'm not trying to get into an ice planet scenario. Just
that's too cool.
Where they have to like fight for my life. It's like being accidentally abducted on a huge like cruise liner of a spaceship and then going to an advanced civilization.
Alien.
Wait, wasn't I supposed to not want this?
Alyssa's like, come on. Well, they have had that mysterious signal and all the alien stuff we haven't had time for in 2020. So maybe this is like aliens.
No, I mean,
got a big boat.
At this point is like, aliens, please come, please. We will take us. No, you may be our leader. We will just like seriously. If an alien had showed up at the last minute, it was like, I'm adding myself via alien fiat to your ballot, and you can vote for me. About me in advance. Like, I think that alien could have won a plurality of the vote. Yeah, like a sizable plurality.
Oh, and just so you guys know, if you don't know about Anna Gary's book, it's called Strange Love. And she just finished writing the sequel, which she was doing as a serial. And I think it's up for pre-order, which I don't remember. Love Code, I think, is the sequel.
Oh.
So
also, Anne has donated a 1-year mentorship to the auction.
Yes, a 1-year mentorship where you get unlimited access to her. She will talk to you about all of your questions about publishing. And she is self-published. She has done young adult books. She has done fantasy, sci-fi, romance, thrillers. I mean, you will get a great mentor who will answer all of your questions and just be. Also, Anne's one of those people where if you kill someone, she shows up with a shovel.
Yeah.
So you want her in your corner.
Are you offering her body hiding services?
I'm not saying that anyone out there should kill someone and then bid on the mentorship.
Oh my God, I'm drinking. Peyton says Garrus, am I right? I love Garrus, but he's too much of my bro. I'm into Thane though. And this goes back to like the assassin stuff Bree was talking about with like Nalini singing her arrows. I'm super into Thane. I wish that, he could have continued throughout the entire Mass Effect trilogy, which, by the way, the remastered Legendary Edition announced yesterday on N7 Day. So anybody who is interested in that, spring 2021, they're actually doing it.
I love that they announced the remastered Mass Effect and like 5 minutes later they called the election and like all the Mass Effect like fans on my timeline were like unable to function in life anymore.
I couldn't. I was like,
whoa, where do I look? Remastered Mass Effect. President. So
hottest non-human character, Mitt Romney.
No, that's wrong. You're bad. He's not hot.
I want him to spank me. I'm sorry. It's true. I know I never would. I know that's not what
We're drunk now.
but it's true. I'm sorry. I'm not proud of this about myself, but Bree knows that this is a long-standing tradition.
Yeah, I've been telling her that this is a problem for a while.
It's true. It's a big problem. I'm not saying it's not. That's probably the thing that I would like read but never go for in actual real life, except I don't know.
Okay, let's see here.
Look, Rebecca.
Okay. So, hottest non-human character, Donna cannot answer anymore.
Hottest non-human.
I'm trying to remember the last non-human book I read with non-human characters. It's been
Is this
a while.
in a romance or in general? So is it like Robin Hood, the animated fox?
Anything. I think it's
Yeah, just go
Oh,
crazy.
seriously.
Robin Hood, you go, girl.
I think I'll go with Robin Hood for now.
Yeah, that Robin Hood fox was like a whole our generation thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that, but
I mean, are shapeshifters like counting, or is that like too human?
like, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like vampires are
I feel like,
cheating.
yeah, that
You know,
seems like cheaty. Like
Are
you need to go past it
vampires
too on the monster fuckers.
That's a Polish species. Because
What?
vampires can't reproduce with other vampires. Well, can vampires make vampires out of anything? Like, could a vampire make a vampire dog?
There's a vampire Pomeranian in Blade Trinity.
There is.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds said, "You made a goddamn vampire Pomeranian."
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on this question because my brain isn't working. Sorry.
It's okay. If it comes to you later, just shout it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I am not quite as big on the aliens, but you know, I feel like I'm also not thinking very clearly. So probably some android like robot boyfriend though.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like,
Android
robot.
boyfriend.
Data.
Oh,
Data.
I think Data. I honestly feel like Data was the imprinted upon android, even though he's not like hot.
Oh, he's hot. He's fully functional, Alyssa.
I mean, but I feel like everyone on Star Trek, like the Next Generation, was somehow a part of like this generation's crush-worthy people. There's Geordi, Captain Picard, like elements of each character.
The chat's horny for Worf.
Yeah, Worf.
Worf, yes.
There's only like Wesley Crusher is probably the only like member, quasi member of the Enterprise crew that I wouldn't fuck.
There's the quote for our very professional.
Deanna Troi.
Oh, yeah.
I must remember about being in high school and watching Star Trek: The Next Generation is that I very much enjoyed her as a character. And she is not human. She is a Betazoid.
She's half Betazoid, yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay, let me go scroll back and see. Yes, Rose, yes, the vampire Pomeranian. I could just
from Gargoyles, yes.
Blade Trinity the whole way through, pretty much. I've watched that movie so many times.
Ryan Reynolds' abs are really good in it. And the beard. He's got a good beard.
Yeah, that was the movie where I realized.
Oh.
You what?
I don't know who Ryan Reynolds is.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I'm sure I've seen
You do.
No, I'm sure I've seen it, but like I just for some
he
reason
looks different in a lot of stuff. Like he's kind of like Chris Evans,
and I'm sure I believe them. He just doesn't stick in my head. And if you ask me, like, if you showed me a lineup of like 8 dudes, I would be like, I don't know.
He never stuck in my head until Blade Trinity, and then I imprinted upon his beard and abs, and then that
I'm
was
really good with faces, so I can never I can never tell when that is like reasonable, like when someone's reasonably forgettable, because I don't forget anybody's faces.
She doesn't. She's IMDb. You can like quiz her, and she'll like know every minor person, everything.
If you are like here on the scale, I am like here on the scale. I can remember people sometimes, like you know, yeah. I like one of the reasons I like Star Trek is because it was so easy to tell people apart. Like I had a friend who used to watch Friends, and I would watch with her because we were roommates at the time. And like seriously, like I could never tell the dudes apart, and it made it very confusing. Like, who is this fucking dude?
Sorry, my mom's trying to call me.
The other chick. How are you supposed
Does
to
your mom have thoughts on the questions we've been asked? Is she watching the live stream?
I have thoughts on the Next Generation. You should answer the phone and ask your mom which alien on the Next Generation she would fuck.
Do you really want me to do that?
Yes, I really want you to do it.
Okay, I'll call her back.
I'm gonna assume my mom would say Worf. My parents also watch Star Trek, but
Oh God.
you're calling.
I'm calling her back. Donna told me to.
I cannot imagine what my mom would say.
Hey, Mom, you're on our live stream right now because Donna told me to answer the phone because she wants to know which Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm going to say this more politely. You think is the hottest.
Which do I what?
Which Star Trek The Next Generation character do you think is the hottest? Who's your favorite?
She possibly asked that question.
Because we were discussing it when you called and you're on our live stream now.
Of course, Patrick Stewart.
Oh, Patrick Stewart.
That's utterly
So,
fair. That is
I'm going to tell you guys, I bought her a cardboard cutout of Data once because she loves Data. You love Data.
Oh, I love Data, but he's not the hottest. He's just the most interesting. He's
Yes.
the one I want to date. I want to date him.
Oh, so she's married Data. Fuck Patrick Stewart, kill somebody. I don't know.
Kill Wesley Crusher, always.
Yeah, kill Wesley Crusher.
We have. She's reminding me we have been in the same room with Jonathan Frakes because we were eating at a restaurant in this tiny restaurant in Maine once. Like there was 3 tables in it, and he just came in and sat down at the other one, like just randomly. So that was my Jonathan Frakes story.
So funny. It was so funny because you and I freaked out, and we were like trying not to intrude on him, but like sneaking peeks and everything. And the waitress said to us, "Oh, are you a fan of General Hospital?" And we both went, "What?"
His wife was with him, and they were all excited for her, and we were like, "Ah!" Yeah. So, okay, Mom. Thank you for being patient. I'm gonna hang up now and go back to the stream, but thank you for being with us.
Henry the chat.
Yes,
okay.
you were on the stream.
I hope I behaved myself.
You did good. Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Henry the chat. Which is hotter, bears, werewolves, vampires, or pandas? Like, I think the pandas. Do they get to eat something besides bamboo in their non-wear state? Because the bamboo is a real, like, it's a hard line for me.
Now I'm thinking about a hot dude sitting there eating some bamboo.
Like, pandas, I mean, I love pandas. They're beautiful. They're wonderful creatures. They're graceful. But they're, like, evolutionarily, they're so fucked.
He would just be tumbling all over the place.
But they're not sexy. I'm sorry, pandas. This is why you have to like force them all. You have to force them all to like procreate. And they're like, we what? What? No.
Why would we do this thing? We just want to eat bamboo and roll downhill.
They're evolutionarily this really strange thing. Pandas, I'm so sorry. I'm mocking you.
I was always going to be team werewolves, but I got to say, I read the Nalini Singh book with the bears, and then I was like,
I'm bears.
I'm bears.
I'm a werebear. Werebear fan.
Awesome.
But I didn't want big, cuddly, comforting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I like bears. They're far as like, you know,
But wolves are
dudes.
awesome predators in a way that bears aren't.
There was
Wolves predators are amazing, and we're gonna get wolves back in Colorado. Woo! Sorry.
I am a big fan of like what people call like bears with dudes. Like, okay, one time I went with this guy that I was dating to the All Night Dirty bookstore in Green Springs. And I found a magazine.
And he turned into a werebear.
No. I found a magazine that was like called Bears. And I was so excited that it was just going to be an entire magazine full of like super hot, like bear type dudes. And he was like, how do I explain this to you? A magazine is not for women. I was like, I mean, like, it could be. And he was like, only if you have like a fetish for watching dudes do it. And I was like, wait. So then I open it up, right? And it's not just like, you know, centerfolds and like pictures of like hot bear dudes being hotly bear. They were like all fucking, and I was like, okay, it's a bridge too far for me. Like, this is a little bit spicier than what I was looking for. But that made me like so sad that I was automatically discounted as like the market demographic for an entire magazine full of like hairy naked dudes.
Bree, can you put up Rose's thing about what she wants with werewolves? Because I want to call her out. Okay, so can I say something about this? Rose, you want everyone to be Eastern European immigrants organizing unions. It's not just the werewolves. Thank you.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
Rose, can you write
very
this?
hot.
I would
This is very hot,
definitely read the hell out of that. So
yeah, seriously.
Please write it.
Organizing unions from all around the world.
I mean, come on. I think werewolves would be great community organizers. They're like pack oriented. Yeah. Let's write some werewolves, you know, community organizing.
I feel like most people, when they hear like the Eastern European thing, would like automatically their brains would default to like vampires, though.
That is sort of a
well, because it's so like
because of Transylvania.
Yeah, there's a stereotype, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna change that.
Yeah,
Eastern European werewolves.
Union organizing werewolves from across the Eastern.
Organizing unions. Like vampires are more like feudal lords.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. There's the setup. The werewolves are trying to organize, the vampires are like, no.
I have a book I would almost certainly never write about vampires. And that is basically the premise. So the idea is that most vampires that are made die instantly. And the actual scientific reason is because you have to have the blood type that's the universal acceptor. Otherwise, when you feed from somebody, then you have a transfusion reaction and die. And so only people who have that blood type will survive and everyone else dies. And then the premise of the book was going to be that the person who I'm spoiling it, so now I can never write this book. Sorry. I was never going to write this book.
But maybe you will forget because of the kombucha.
The hero of the book was going to get transformed into a vampire, and he has, I can never remember which one it is, but like the blood type that's the universal donor. So in other words, if he takes in blood from anyone other than universal donors, he's going to die. So that was going to be the premise of the whole thing. Yeah, but in any event, all the vampires, because this has been around for like hundreds of years, all the vampires have convinced themselves that they were like chosen by God because they don't give a fuck about science and they're all like Eastern European racists, right? And it's like, you know, no, why aren't more vampires?
No, Rose. She said that the vampires are feudal lords and the werewolves have to organize against them.
No, I said vampires were feudal lords. The werewolves have to take them down. Right?
Yeah.
No, you're not going to get this book because now I've ruined it. I've spoiled what the surprise is going to be. The surprise was going to be science. It works. You're not fucking God lords. But no, I ruined it. I guess it's not a big surprise. The surprise would be science. It works because that's often the point. Whatever.
I know
Those
you
are
still
books
read it.
for very big science that works.
I
Yeah,
have
like-
entire genres I'm never gonna write because Bree's like, that's too much research.
As if you don't do, you got, see, this excuse makes no sense because you research a million things.
I do, but I'm not. History is something that I don't feel very like. It's so much easier for me to research technology stuff. So because I like have such a strong basis in it.
All the same thing. It's all okay. Look, so I
don't buy this
freaking book researching technology. Bree, like the amount of work that I put into my emoji proposal that has ended up in this book because I have to think about how to like. Oh my god! So I've spent like the last 3 weeks painstakingly reading like these 1880 texts from Meiji Japan to try and figure out like all the commercial codes they were using to transmit Chinese characters, which is fuck.
That's a lot.
Like no, it's
no,
so
but
like,
you know, I mean, I get it. Like because we had to do a radio, like we have a ham radio system in the second book that we're writing right now, and I like spent 2 days learning all about ham radio so that I could then extrapolate a 2080s ham radio code. So it's not that I don't want to do the research, it's just
You don't want to do that particular research.
well, no, I feel like it's a more content, like let's be real, historical readers will come at you, man. Nobody can come at me over my extrapolated 2080s ham radio code.
okay, look. So
listen, the most
I'm so scared of making people mad and disappointed.
People will get mad at you for whatever, but the thing that I get the most mail about is kudzu. In what is the name of the book? The second book, A Hope Divided. They're walking through the forest, and I briefly mentioned that they're being kudzu, and kudzu stands are very polite but diligent, and they're like, look, kudzu did not come to the United States until 2 to 3 years after this book was set. I just wanted to let you know, but this is why I love them, because none of the emails are mean, but they're just like, look, I just need to make this clear to you, and now I am very aware, and I actually appreciate their emails because I've never had a mean kudzu fan. Only helpful
the kudzu fans
people.
are coming for us too. Nicely.
no.
So our audio narrator said kudzu wrong.
Yeah.
People who are mean are also invariably wrong, right?
Yeah.
There's people who daisy stuff like, but there were no black people back then, and like this doesn't work because blah blah blah. And they also,
and that's not even research. It's just
shit about historical research.
See, that's
book, like,
the thing.
in, and all the stuff they're adding in is completely wrong, right? It's like back then people didn't worry about washing their hands, and it's like, okay, well, here's this newspaper article about this actual committee that you're saying was ahistorical, existing in the actual year I wrote about this. All right, okay, sure.
Yeah,
right?
one of my favorite things that people just like, have learned facts from like, Georgette Heyer and like, all these kind of considered like classic historical, what they're basically, they don't realize that what they're accepting as fact is just it's like fanon, They're literally sitting there like talking about things that they've seen on like TV shows and movies and read in books. None of it is like primarily sourced. It's like they've never considered it to be fact.
Or they haven't considered the context in which they learned it, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, and I don't want to complain too much about reviews because they're what people like, but I had people say like, how does Minnie, a gently bred woman, know about masturbation? I'm like, she was dressed as a boy for the first years of her life and like hung out with men who were like it's canonical that she hung out with men who like told her, who like just treated her like she was like another man.
So, and I mean, also, you don't even have to do that because there are enough creepy people in the world to make you aware.
There's all the Victorian era books, and I wish I had saved the fucking link when I found it, but I read this phenomenal Victoria era book that was like, this is why you must not masturbate, children. And it's like one of those things, it's like your palm's gonna get hairy and like your brain's gonna, like all this shit, right? It's like, it's like this kid's book that's like, don't masturbate. But like, how would they be making this book if kids didn't know about masturbation, right? I mean, we all understand
I think it's sort of like
masturbation.
A historical truth for all eras that kids know more about sex than adults think they do. Like, have they ever not? So, wait, I had a question. I don't want it to scroll out of way again. I
have, and it does change depending on what things are. And there are some things that, so like Bree and I think can talk about the same thing, which is like when we were like super young-ish, like early adults, we were both super into Robert Jordan.
Yes.
And like really into Robert Jordan. And the degree to which I've understood how fucking problematic Robert Jordan is has changed wildly since I was like 19.
And and like this is the thing, in the 90s, I still love a lot of the stuff about that books. Like Courtney, I saw constantly sending Courtney stuff about the TV show. And like some of those characters are so important to me. But, and like here's the thing, that's the only series written by like a white guy in the 90s that I still talk about or look at. I read a lot of them that I have garbage binned from my memory forever. I mean, science fiction and fantasy, even like Anne McCaffrey, who I was such a huge fan of, and then I went back and read her books. Like, I reread one of the Dragon books last year, and like, I already knew that they were problematic. Like, I knew that, but like, I reread it, and I was horrified the extent to which they were. Right. Yeah! And, so that's always the thing. A lot of the stuff that was comforting for me as a kid is we have nostalgia, but also you go back and you see the cracks in the foundation and the things that, were probably messing you up. So
yeah, in some ways, like where I was coming from was so like generally fucked in other ways that even like a little bit of feminism was good. But yeah, sometimes the first step on the ladder is not necessarily, it's still in the dung heap and you don't want to stay in the first step.
Yeah, like the Robert Jordan series has a binary magic system that's very gender essentialist. Like women have a magic system where they submit to power and men have a magic system where they dominate power. And
there's really transphobic things that happen with characters.
Yeah.
It's just really kind of messed up.
But you know what? It's being adapted by a showrunner who seems extremely sensitive to that stuff. So like my big hope is that the show has some sort of thing that people can come into.
Is the showrunner Rafe? Like Rebecca's Rafe?
Yes, the showrunner, his name is Rafe. And he's a redhead. He once tweeted Rebecca Weatherspoon's Buff Hot Nanny Rafe book.
Because
someone tweeted it at him and he's like, I'm a Buff Hot Nanny, and I was like, my mind is exploding. So I always call him Rebecca's Rafe.
My go-to comfort read, ones that I turned to this week, someone posted about Jennifer Cruzy being available in audio, so I spent election day and the days after listening to some old Jennifer Cruzy, which was like part of my entryway into romance, from stealing from my mom's bookcase. But also like Nalini Singh. An older one would be like Julie Garwood and Judith McNaught's medieval romances, which are always fun. But also, again, going back, it's like, wait, how old is this heroine? It's a bit creepy. But just skipping the introductory paragraphs that talk about all that stuff, and just assuming everyone is 35. I have to go bring Tico his food, so I will be back in a minute.
Okay. I don't want to answer this question.
You what?
I don't want to answer this question.
That's okay. Nalini Sin has been a big comfort read for me. So
I think the series I've read the most is Lois McMaster Bujold's For Costigan series, and I haven't actually read it in probably 10 or 15 years. At this point, there's a point in my life where I really desperately needed that series based on what I wanted to do, and I think you can tell that one of the things that I really love sometimes is seeing people recommend my books in the same like Twitter comment as hers.
Yes.
That for me is one of the things where every time I see it, I just like this little fangirl part of my heart goes, and then I just like want to fall on the floor. It's just amazing, like seriously amazing. I love it.
Yeah, when someone tweets a rec to your book and like a person you love in the same tweet, it's oh my god, why am I being included with this person?
It's just I don't think we're quite in the same emotional valley anymore, the way we were back when I started reading her incessantly. But yeah, like it's still like, I read her stuff so much that I would know what's coming next. I probably might if you there's more coming next.
Donna, I pulled this one up for you especially.
No. Basically anything that I have to search. The last somewhat weirdly incriminating thing that I had to look for was actually like, the dosage per weight for like various sedatives. And so I'm sitting there actually like pulling up like prescribing monographs of like drugs that I, as a non medical practitioner, should not even be able to get my hands on, and like calculating like dosages and stuff. And that's pretty incriminating. But basically anything that I have to look for Danny from the Mercenary Librarian series, because she's very specific about calculating her like sedative dosages. Those need to be very well tailored, because like it's always kind of stupid. Like, you see like in a book or in a movie or something, somebody's just sort of like pumps someone full of a sedative. And I'm like, that's an excellent way to kill someone.
It is an excellent way to kill someone. That's how Elijah McClain was killed in fucking Denver.
Yeah, like you can't just
fucking inject someone with a sedative. They killed him because he's relatively lightweight, and they just injected like a sedative.
Yeah, like you actually have to like calculate that stuff. Dosages like per weight, and even then, it's like a tricky thing. But I mean, that's why there are like anesthesiologists who that's their entire speciality. Danny's really specific about what kind of steel she uses, like for her knives, because she doesn't like it. Certain like steel alloys rust faster when they're in frequent contact with blood. There are some that are less forgiving if you don't clean them right away. So yeah, I have to Google a lot of stuff for Danny. That's very, if somebody wanted to look at my search history, they'd be like, what is she over there doing? Like, what's going on? I don't like any of this. So
I spent like 5 hours the other day Googling different ways to foil facial recognition, but I feel like I'm probably just lost in the swamp of everybody who's doing that right now because of all the protests. So,
What about the time you had to like research how to build an EMP bomb?
Oh my God, you guys. No, I want to tell the story about the wood generator. I once had to figure out how to make a wood burning generator. like if it was possible, like what you would need to do one so that they could like chop wood and like use it to power electricity. So I found this site that had these like schematics, detailed schematics, this whole like long post of everything that he did to like put it together, pictures in process, all the different parts, where he got them. And I was like scrolling down for like 20 minutes, just this is like the best resource ever. And I got to the end of the post and it said, I don't know if it works yet because my mom won't let me try it. It was a 14-year-old kid.
I love it.
So yeah, I find some weird things.
For me, it would be identity theft stuff. I have been researching multiple ways to steal identity in the modern world.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, because a lot of the kind of, you know, tried and true old school methods are not really, they're a lot harder to do now.
Much harder. It's so much harder as it digitally, but it's also so much easier. It's both harder and easier. Yeah. So, yeah, like, I mean, I think you would need to social engineer it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But it would be relatively easy to social engineer.
What, you mean like those tweets that are like, hey, what's your social security number? That's your star sign.
So here's the thing. I'm not looking into like the boring identity stealing, which is like doing it and then like opening a few credit cards. I'm talking about the kind of thing where you could like take over a life and not have anyone find out and object, which means you can't actually do it with a living person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a little, obviously I've thought about this a lot. I'm just going to leave it there before I actually.
Don't talk about it.
And I say Brad's probably still out there. Brad, be chill.
Yeah, it's like,
Brad.
There used to be a pretty simple method for doing that thing. I used to know someone who did it.
Wait, mail it to her.
No.
No,
I mean that one because I probably know it because I have also done it for, you know, what you would do in the 70s.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
not
doable anymore. It's not really a thing that you could, you know, make work. There have been too many like regulations specifically with the Social Security Administration that make that not work anymore. But yeah, like I actually like know someone who did that before, and yeah, you couldn't do it. But that would be a conversation I would be very interested in having. I mean, not for any practical reason. And I say, Brad, just curiosity.
Brad.
But that will not be part of the live stream.
No, that will not be part of the live stream.
No, but NSA Brad, if you want to contact one of us and volunteer to do a live stream with us,
that would be amazing.
I feel like we've manifested him into being by this point, especially since Alyssa put him in a book that's now a New York Times bestseller.
Well, somewhere he's reading the book and he's like, "Oh my god!"
I hope he looks like
me. How did they know?
You think he looks like Steve Kornacki?
Now he does.
Honestly,
probably. Yeah, I would love it.
So, okay, here's a good drunk question.
Are we limiting ourselves to protagonists here, or?
I think anyone.
If we can, I mean, I just feel like it's too easy if you're limiting it to like killing your villains. Easy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
Protagonists only.
Yeah. Can't kill the villains.
Who am I gonna kill? Shit.
Fuck Dallas, marry Dallas, kill Dallas. I mean, I feel like that would be the progression.
It has to be in that order.
I mean, if I was married to Dallas, I would kill him. So
yeah. I don't think I would get along with most of my characters. Shit. Who would I kill?
Just my characters or Bree's characters?
You can use my characters. I mean, it's just so quick for me to want to kill Dallas. I mean, I feel like I'm so ahead of all the rest of you.
Yeah,
I love Dallas, but I also hate Dallas. So he grew a lot over the series, but the last thing I had to write with him was that prequel we had to write where he was a total asshole.
Yeah.
So I still got a little "gonna kill you, Dallas" in my head.
Well, I'm going to start with, can I include characters who have books that aren't published yet, or is that rude?
It's rude, but do it.
Have I read it?
It's rude. Why would
I
I
read it. Alyssa, with a real question.
I'm going to go with fuck Arthur, who you haven't met. And it's partially just because the people who I'm writing about are in my head more. So, there's that. I'm going to kill Adam Reynolds because I know people like him, but like if I killed him, I wouldn't have to do this fucking book. No, I'm kidding about that. And then I'm going to marry Chloe.
Oh,
I would marry Chloe.
Okay, for me, fuck Lakotsi. Marry. Oh, this is hard. Can I have a polyamorous marriage? Are there rules? Yeah. Okay. No. Okay, I'll try to narrow it down. Marry. Okay, I can't think of who to marry or to kill. To kill, I don't want to kill any of my protagonists. But maybe
man,
Tav.
I'm feeling bloodthirsty now.
Probably Tav. He would probably get on my nerves and I would just kill him with one of his swords. And marry, I don't know.
I would marry Portia and we would have a wonderful relationship that exploded in a fiery storm of ADHD joy.
Yeah, if I married Portia, like we would blow something up.
But it would burn so bright and it would be so fun before it exploded.
Don't worry, it's on my list. Because I would. Oh wait, were you gonna pick someone to kill, or you can skip it?
Oh no, I'm gonna kill Tav and marry.
Oh, okay, all right.
Marry Gus, I guess, because I kind of am married.
I will be right back.
Okay.
I would fuck Lex because
who wouldn't
have that opportunity? I would marry Rachel Asen Cruz because that's canon. That's canon. That could work. And I would kill Dylan Jordan.
Ooh.
Actually, I would do all of those things to him too first, and then kill him. And then I would move on too, because he is like the most maddening character that I have ever written in my entire life, and that's saying something. Because I've written some pretty maddening characters, but he is like, I wanted to like throttle him with his own belt the entire time we were writing Beyond Ruin. And before, but I mean, before, like, when you're writing like a character who is like, really obnoxious, but is like, as yet just like a secondary character, it's really fun because you can just kind of have fun with it because they're obnoxious and it's great. And they're like completely, taking the piss out of all of, your point of view characters and stuff. But then you get to the point where you have to like crawl in their head and you're like, why do I hate myself? Why do I do these things to myself? That was Dylan Jordan.
Yeah,
I am kombucha.
Aha! Okay, let's see. We got any other questions? Oh, we've been going an hour and a half, y'all.
What?
That's a long time.
Yes! Been having fun. We should probably let's put out a last call for questions so we can round up maybe at hour 2.
Nah, he would. Dylan would very much enjoy it if I tried to strangle him with his belt.
I'm looking back to see if I can see any questions I missed, or if you had a question, drop it in there again. Oh, here. This is a good one. This is not a good one for me, but I know Donna would like it. And
I don't hear music as I'm reading. I used to listen to music as I was writing, but the older I get, the more I kind of found that it seemed to be competing with my like attention span. Now I actually use Brain FM. It's actually brain.fm. That's the web address. And basically you can choose different types of, basically it's just like, brainwave stuff with a backdrop of like either, music or specific types of sounds. My favorite one is the Focus Night Sounds. But they have focus, relax, sleep categories. So I basically like, is it my imagination or they did like lifetime subscriptions at one point, right?
Yeah, I have a lifetime subscription.
Yeah, like that must be what I have. But like the last time I looked at my account, it was like, you have a monthly subscription. I'm like, that's not possible because you sure as hell aren't charging me anything. So I don't know what's going on. But I do know they are not doing lifetime subscriptions right now, but it is very reasonable. Even the monthly charge. For me, it is super actually like noticeably helpful. After about 10 minutes of listening to the focus stuff, preferably with headphones, it is much easier for me to sort of get in the zone and actually like get the words flowing. So it's very useful for me before I write, like when I'm doing like character development. I love making playlists. Like I know a lot of people have already heard this story, but when Bree and I were putting together the pitch materials for our Mercenary Librarian series, when we were getting ready for our agent to take it out on submission, one of the things that we did is that we made a playlist for like each book broken down. And so that was kind of like a thing that I was in charge of. And I don't know whether it contributed to anyone's enjoyment of, the pitch materials, but I do still actually like listen to that playlist. Like I made an actual playlist that we really need to I need to share it or something on Twitter. Share
it.
Yeah, I listen to it when we're writing because I've listened to it enough times that it's background noise to me now because that's like how music works for me when I've heard something enough times. So like I listen to the playlist she made as we like write the books.
It can be very useful for like vibes because like since there are two of us and we actually don't share a brain, regardless of what people think, then when we're starting to develop something, we really have to make sure that we're on the same page because sometimes when we are starting a new project, the entire tone of the piece can literally just come down to the first page, like the first few paragraphs of the story or the book or whatever it is. Like one of us just kind of has to write that. And then it's like, there's the entire, kind of tone of everything, of all of it. And we have to kind of be on the same page with that. Because if we're not, like who wants to write, 40 to 60% of, something they're not feeling, so we have to be very, very in the same zone, and music as example material does really help with that. So that's what we do.
I don't hear music as I'm reading, but I do have generally songs for books that pop up either as I'm writing, usually not before I'm writing, but as I'm writing, and like this song feels like the book. I probably should have made a playlist, but I was supposed to make a Reluctant Royal playlist. But like, so each song will then, for me, kind of represent the book. But I also can't necessarily listen to it while I'm writing because I see words, I guess, in my head when I'm listening to music, and then it interferes with what I'm trying to write.
Yeah.
But like Bree said, there are songs that I can listen to, and then I will just listen to them over and over and over and over and over. So I'll have instead of a playlist, I'll have one song that I've listened to like how many 100 times while I'm writing a book, if I remember, or I started listening to like like electronic ADHD waves video on YouTube. But for me, it's fun when I find a song that's like represents.
I
the
don't hear
book for
music
me.
as I'm reading. I don't have theme songs for characters in my head. When I am writing, I do listen to music. I can't listen to anything with words, or it screws everything up. And I do tend to.
Oh, she froze.
I think I'm freezing.
Yeah, you're frozen.
We can hear you though. We can hear you.
Here, let me try hiding your camera and bringing it back. Because I can hear you, but...
No.
Oh, when I tried to bring it back, it didn't come back.
Are you there, Courtney?
Now it's maybe kicking her without kicking her?
I'm pretty sure this is me glitching.
Oh, wait, you are there. Your camera's just not showing up, but it's like it knows there's something. You're just a little black box on my background, which is ironically computer code.
I think I'm glitching in and out because
it
appears to me that all of you are glitching in and out.
Maybe try leaving and come back.
Can you hear me? Am I here?
Oh, wait, here you are now. Oh.
I think you're here.
Can you
We're all frozen now. Yeah, I can hear you. I think you're moving
here
now. Okay. I think we got Courtney back.
Hear me, but I'm frozen.
You're freezing and unfreezing, but we can hear you okay.
Okay.
So, okay. Here, I'm going to get this question down. Rose asked, what is a favorite cover of yours? Whoops, I put the wrong thing up there.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, but you are freezing.
I'm freezing. I think my internet is bad. I think my internet has decided it hates us.
Oh, no. Here, I'm going to text her.
Okay. My favorite cover is How to Find a Princess, which didn't come out yet, but the cover just, we just shared it. I don't know when. It was recently, but it feels like 10 years ago. Maybe last month or a couple of weeks ago. And that is going to be my first full-length epic.
I'm here. No.
Courtney's image kind of looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Wait. Okay, you're moving now. And now you're not. Okay.
She said she's gonna try dropping out. I'm gonna mute her while she does that.
Okay. But yeah, I answered the question. Mine was How to Find the Princess.
Can you hear me now? How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a little delayed, but you're there.
Nope, gone.
Okay.
My favorite cover is a toss-up between the Deal with the Devil cover and Ashwin.
Ooh, yeah. I like the Hunter cover, which is like right there. I think that's my favorite cover. We struggled for that cover. That was a fight to get that cover perfect. It was like everything felt like it was going wrong, and like we lost 3 different models for the hero over the course of a weekend, like leading up to this Monday shoot, which was the last time this female model could shoot before she left the state. And we wanted her because she was so perfect. And it was like everything was a fiasco. Oh gosh, they say it's 59,000. We might hit 60K. So
for the live stream, okay, so I got in my last email, in my last newsletter, I sent out the story of How to Find the Princess cover, which was shot during the epidemic, and how did we shoot a clench cover during that time? And then I heard from Nadine, who is the art director, and she actually told me there was even more to the story than I knew. They gave me the brief story. So the dress designer had actually quit making dresses and gone to screenwrite. She decided to become a screenwriter. So Nadine tracked her down, asked her if she would make another dress, like she was like, this is basically like the cover she's proudest of in her entire career, because she like had to basically become like a detective. She was tracking down the dress designer, pulling her back in for one last dress.
One last time.
And then from that, they, oh, your sister is a model, her friend's a model, pulling it together, finding a photographer, finding a place for them to do it, all while there is a COVID epidemic and lockdown, and making sure everything came together. So I thought I knew the whole story, but there was actually even more to the story that made it like a miracle cover than I knew. So I do want to give Nadine a shout out for that.
That's amazing. So, okay, let's see. Do you guys get to proof the audiobooks before they're released, or is their recording one and done before you get a chance to tell them they're mispronouncing something?
Yeah, I have never been able to proof it. Sometimes we get to choose the narrator. And I don't know, maybe it's...
I think if you produce your own audio, you get a chance to proof it.
Yeah.
But I actually hated everything about the experience of doing that. So as soon as we got an agent, I was like, please find someone to do our audio. Just make it go away. And so she has. And so I have not proofed, which is, I will say, they asked us for like pronunciation, and I did not give them kudzu.
We do,
and I'm gonna
put that next time. Character names and any like terminology that we might be maybe like using maybe differently or like made up or anything. We do give them like a pronunciation guide in advance for that. But as far as like just like your normal basic words like kudzu, we don't really we don't really tell them that.
Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah, I can't see any of you, but at least you can hear me and I can see some of the stuff that's going on. So let's take this.
Okay, you can be our silent.
Okay. No. Silent. Wait, why am I?
Are you not silent? Invisible.
Yeah. Okay. Like Bree, don't confuse her.
Okay, so
it's moving us around.
Since I do self-publish most of my audiobooks. My main issue is that I just feel intense embarrassment listening to somebody else read my words. And so I have someone else do it, but we do get a chance to proof it and tell them how things are going. So I don't do most of that just because otherwise I would just never put out an audiobook because I can't listen to it. But yeah, it's possible. With the audiobook for The Duke Who Didn't, I did have to go and listen to her pronunciation of some of the Chinese words because the person I had proofing it wouldn't have been able to do that. And yeah, it's kind of interesting how much of it is, like, well, I'm not going to get into that, but yes. Are other people hearing?
Yeah, something's a little squeaky in the background.
Is this?
It's NSA Brad.
No, NSA Brad, like
a little reel-to-reel recorder going. That's what we're hearing.
I wonder if it goes. I'm going to mute myself quickly and try and figure out if it's something weird.
No, still there. I'm going to mute us all. Oh, I think it's Alyssa.
Oh, is it all the frogs and crickets?
It's probably, it sounded sort of, see, I was not really paying attention to it because it sounds like night here.
I'm just like, yeah, that's normal. I can mute when other people are
it's
talking.
Okay. I just totally was like, yeah, sounds right.
I enjoyed that. I was also like, what is it? It's fun. My frog.
Courtney can't unmute herself.
Oh.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Nothing is functioning over here anymore. I think if we are going to do this again, I will have to figure out what the heck is going on and why.
I'm going to do some Googling. See what. Okay. I'll put this one up, especially for Alyssa and I, who are crazy Side Changeling fans. Like you guys would see our
I was
text
looking at that
messages.
question. And yes, I would be an E Sigma if I was going to be anything.
Yes, E Sigmas
E
represent.
Sigma. Yeah.
So when we read Wolfrain, like I think I read it first, and then I was like, "You need to read this book. It's like our hearts." I was just like sobbing because I just really felt I got mercy. I was like, yes, you know, I am a squishy person who also wants to punch people in the face. Yes. So 100%.
And I would say I feel like I'm more of a person who wants to punch people in the face, but is squishy. So the different angles of the E Sigma.
So what's a place you would like to visit once it's safe? I'm not very visity, so I'm gonna skip this one.
My family, the United States.
I really want COVID to be done in time for the Winter Olympics in 2022. I just want to see Yuzuru Hanyu skate in person again. That's all I want.
I want to go back to New Orleans.
Oh yeah,
it's a large part of what you want.
You know what? I don't want to visit anywhere, but I want to be able to like have people over again, just like that. Like that's so silly, but like we do a big Thanksgiving every year for all of our friends. My husband cooks. We call it Friendsgiving, and I'm so sad we're not going to have Friendsgiving this year. Like Donna's kids have had it for like 15 years, 16 years.
It's their favorite part.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they get all excited and tell their friends, you know, one of them invited a girlfriend to like Friendsgiving, and so I'm really sad, but
yeah.
Someday maybe we have a chance to get this under control now. So some adults in the room.
Yeah. We can hope.
May wants to know if someone wrote an AU where they reimagined some of your characters as mythical beings, which mythical reimaginings would be the most interesting to you?
I want werewolves.
Donna and I actually do that sometimes. We write our own characters. We do like writing exercises if we're having trouble, where we like put them in different worlds or like make them supernatural. And sometimes just the act of deciding what sort of supernatural characteristics would like be the best manifestation of their personality is like the best writing exercise you can imagine. And you learn so much of it just trying to figure out, well, would this person be a werebear or a werewolf? I mean, that says a lot about who they are, you know?
It's also really interesting, like if you do that multiple times, like in different settings, like not always like supernatural, but sometimes just like different AU settings, you can kind of see the through lines on characters, like all the things that stay the same versus like the things that, you know, will situationally change. And that's also very, very, very helpful.
For me, I think Bree and Donna know what it will be, but it will be chicken shifters. And I haven't had a chance to write it, but I do have a chicken shifter Reluctant Royals AU short story planned. Thinking about what kind of chickens each character would be. And also some of them would not be chickens, they would be other kinds of birds. But that is one day it will be written.
You guys, we hit 60K.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We hit 60K. Thank you.
Yay.
Now I'm gonna cry.
This is amazing.
This is so amazing. You guys, like, I don't know what to do. Like, thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who's donated, who's in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you all for sharing and all the other things that you do. I have feelings about where we are in elections and all of this stuff as a country, which if you follow me on Twitter are probably not going to come as a huge surprise. But I really think that we have a ton of work to do to get to the point where we've gotten to the point where the bad thing that happened has stopped. Maybe, hopefully will stop happening very soon. But we need to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And that's going to take a lot of work to change things to the point where it doesn't happen again. But I think we can do that work. And I feel more hopeful now than I have in a long time about the possibility of that. So thank you to everyone for helping to build that hope and make it big and bigger. And I just want to say, I think it's important to remember that even if I don't want to put this out in the universe because I firmly believe it is within our power to win Georgia, both of these runoff elections. But I just want to say that even if we don't, on the very tiny chance that we don't, we've got, I think that the work that is being done to build grassroots organizations and to talk about how to work in doing deep community work is going to pay dividends no matter what the outcome is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, people talked about how Stacey Abrams wasted her time in Georgia when she lost the governor's seat. And like, no, clearly she didn't. She was laying that track and it didn't go quite far enough. But then she didn't listen to all the people who told her she had accomplished nothing and just went back and laid a little more. And then she flipped Georgia blue. So
exactly. I had people sending her mentions about her last, like, you know, in July or August saying that she wasn't doing anything. And like, I just would like to like look those people in the eye right now. I can't since nobody can see me.
I'll do it for you.
But look them in the eye and say, fuck you. Stacey Abrams rocks, and I hope you eat your words. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're coming up on 2 hours, so we'll probably start to wrap it up here. Like, what a way to wrap it up with like $60,000. And thank you for everyone who has donated money, auction items, their time. I know a lot of you in here are helping us do the organization, which is such a big deal. We've got a lot of excited people, a lot of pet pics to come. And we are just going to keep making, thank you, and keep sharing it. Like, that is a big deal for us, helping. Just, you know, you don't have to give a bunch of money, even just helping share it, sending it to people.
Yeah.
That is like huge, because that is how this has happened. It is, and like, you guys, we literally posted this link on Twitter, on a Twitter account that had 2 followers. So like, you guys sharing, never feel bad if that's all you can do, because literally that's what made this happen.
Yeah.
Everybody together doing this. So you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Stacey Abrams is awesome.
Romancelandia is going to take over the world.
Oh, and if you don't follow Fated Mates, they are going to be organizing phone banking again. And we will probably try to find a way to get information to everybody about that. So if you go and check out their Twitter account, they're going to be organizing phone banking in Georgia, which would be something that if you don't have money, but you have some time. And I've been told that people who are terrified of phones, which I get that, had fun. It was a group activity. And I mean, if you're going to make terrifying phone calls, do it with Romancelandia. Because, you know, that's a squad to travel with.
Will this stream be available for people to watch later?
Yes.
Like the link to it?
Yeah, I will. It'll just be, this link will just be the link to the video, and you guys can watch it back if you missed anything.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. If you guys want to say, I wish we could have Courtney wave goodbye.
I'm waving, you just can't see me.
We'll wave for her. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And have a great time. We will see you guys later.
Bye.
And
See you on social media.